Hello everyone, meteorologist Brian Good here on this Sunday night. It's time once again for our video version of Snow Talk. And we have a little bit of snow to talk about in the short term, but most of this coming up for tonight and tomorrow is going to be in a very, very light form, not a big ordeal, certainly as we head into tomorrow morning. But as we saw last week, a half-inch of snow caused problems in the area, so that's one reason I'm going to mention that for northern counties. You may see a little bit of snow. I'm not trying to raise the roof thing, I promise. On a video blog. That's embarrassing. Okay. On the radar that we have in the area, and we've got a mostly clean sweep at the moment. You know, some snow trying to break out across areas of Illinois, pretty close to I-57. That is the actual clipper that we're tracking. And we mentioned that term a lot in the wintertime. You know, clippers are fast areas of low pressure that kind of dive down through Canada into the Ohio Valley. And anywhere along and mainly north of that track is where you get your snow. And they're easy to track because you can see the angle it's already beginning to take. That little bit of a curve. If we follow that all the way through Indiana, it should track across south-central Indiana, northern Kentucky, and then easterly into areas of Virginia. So this is going to be your best zone to see maybe an inch of snow out of this. You can see Louisville is going to be on that southern edge here, so we'll get a little bit of flurry action maybe from that as it passes by. The only thing we're going to watch for, and this is not a big, oopsie-doo kind of thing with the forecast, but sometimes when these clippers get into central areas of the viewing area, we sometimes notice a little bit of enhancement that will take place, and they can expand a little bit to the south and east. I've seen that happen many times here with clippers. Don't see that happening right now, but usually when they round the base of that curve and they begin to flatten out, there's a little bit of an expansion that can develop. But even if that did happen, we're only talking about a dusting. But again, it doesn't take much to cause problems around here. So that's the reason why I'm mentioning it, is that something we'll be watching on the radar throughout the overnight and early morning. All right, now let's talk about snow amounts. It's not a lot, as I mentioned. You know, you can get high snow ratios out of this clipper because it is colder in the areas of Seymour, North Vernon, and Carrollton. You guys will be in the lower 20s tonight. You can squeeze a little bit of moisture into about an inch of snow, so that's why the models are spitting those numbers out, and then it drops off quickly south of that track. But again, not a big snow around the area. Then after this moves by, again, another weak clippers into Monday night, but the big story by far is the warmth coming our way. Later this week, look at all the warmth that's surging here across the southeast part of the country, and 70s can be found across the deep south potentially out of this. I mean, it's going to feel nice out there, especially on Friday. It's not going to happen fast. It's not going to be a gradual uptick of warmth here. It looks like it's going to happen late Thursday into Friday. Just suddenly a surge of warm air is going to move into the area. So it's going to take a few days to get us warm outside. So chilly weather until then. But that's what's going to make the forecast interesting, though, is this warm surge into the Ohio Valley. We've been talking about this setup here for the first day of winter, which happens during the lunch hour, by the way, on Saturday. Because the way that setup is now, we're going to have this warm-up at play. We're also going to have Arctic cold just kind of waiting up there across the northern tier of the country. As the warmth locks in, we're going to see multiple waves of low pressure moving through. That is going to send a tremendous amount of moisture right into areas of the Ohio Valley along each one of the low tracks and just northwest of the low tracks. And this is going to cause a big problem when it comes to heavy rain, potentially. At this point, though, when we start seeing the first couple of lows move on by, we're thinking the cold air is going to behave itself and stay up here to the north and west, keeping this all rain. In fact, if the low pressure can track a little bit further to the west that we're showing here, mainly across Indiana and Ohio, there could be some thunder, the lightning that could develop here across our area. Right now, I think the best chance for that is going to be across the deep south, but something interesting to see later this week. But this is what we're going to be watching for as we head into Sunday. The cold air, and the models are really struggling with this, but there are signs the cold air, it's heavier, it's denser, it is going to sneak in to the south and east. It looks like at this point, from what I'm gathering on the pattern, it's not going to be able to really do this on its own. It's going to try to seep a little bit to the south and east, but it's not going to have a whole lot of ability to push in quickly when this moisture is at play. The only exception to that is if one of these low pressures, and the GFS just came in at 18Z, trying to hone in on this idea that one of these lows that's going to move on by actually deepens and becomes pretty strong. If that's the case, it will grab that cold air and throw it in before the low can move out of the way, and that would be sometime Sunday or Monday. If that's the setup, then we're talking about the potential here for a quick change over to freezing rain or even snow, depending on how much cold air can pull in behind that low. That's the only way I'm really seeing that right now being a possibility of anything significant happening here wintry for Sunday and Monday. But I have to caution you got to be careful not to get too caught up on all the computer models right now. They're going all over the place on where the moisture is going to be, how much moisture, and where's the cold air going to be, and which days it's going to be on. It's a complicated pattern that even computer models, is sometimes as advanced as they can be, cannot even understand. So I'm not going to show models right now. I'm just going to let you know this is the setup that we're facing for the weekend, and it's going to take us 3 to 4 more days for us to really nail down the specifics to give you an accurate forecast of what is going to happen. So this is your heads up. This is why we do video blogs, not to hype up storms. We do video blogs and written blogs to inform you and give you an inside look of what we're looking at, kind of a sneak peek into our minds that we don't get a chance to say on television. That's the only reason why we discuss this so much detail off television. Now, say if we were to face this scenario of changing over to snow, how much will we be talking about? Well, the GFS, as I mentioned, tries to grab the cold air at the last minute and put down snow. 17 inches in Pennsylvania. I'm sure they're sitting out tonight and getting all excited. But this is just one model run, and it'll be gone probably at midnight when the new update comes in. But you can see it grabs that cold air and tries to snow on the backside of the low before it heads out. The reason why I'm showing you this is not because of the specific amounts of 4.2 and 5.1 and blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to illustrate to you that if we're going to get a white Christmas this year, this is what kind of has to happen, because we've got to get the snow out of the system on the ground to qualify for the official qualification for a white Christmas on Wednesday of next week, which is 1 inch of snow has to fall or be on the ground on that day. And this is the only system I see that has the best chance to do that. We do have a clipper that I do see for Christmas Day, but I think that's not going to be enough to really get us to the qualification. The European model does show it as well. It's a little quicker on grabbing the cold air a little further to the back of the system. It still will give us that qualification of 1 inch, certainly, but it would give the heavier band of snow a little further north and west where that deeper cold air would be. The rainfall part, though, I have to stress, is what's going to be concerning. If we do not get any cold air involved and we do not go to any frozen precip and it's just plain rain, these are the kind of rain amounts we are talking about as we get into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday. So it's a several-day total I'm showing you, but over a 4-day period, several inches of rain here is going to be problematic for area rivers, certainly. But that is a potential showing up here on the flip side if we don't get this to a frozen form. I know what you're thinking. But what, Brian, what if we get this to frozen form with those kind of rain amounts? Then what's going to happen? Are we going to get like 40 inches of snow? Not really, because cold air holds less moisture. So those number values will be lower than what we're showing there. This is a scenario of all rain if it stays warm enough, because warm air holds all that ability to produce 3-4 inches of rain. So would it still be significant if it were to get colder quicker? Yeah, it would. I'm not going to lie to you, it would be. But I don't see a sign of that right now. So don't get too excited yet, and don't put those words in my mouth either. All right, so that's the setup here. A little bit of a clipper action as we enter tonight. Cold weather the next few days, nothing too extreme, not bad. It's, December, not a big deal. This is the last week of autumn, so enjoy the quiet weather. And it actually is going to warm up here as we head into Thursday and Friday. I think we'll pitch 60 by Friday. The rain chance, by the way, I think will start Thursday night into Friday. We should see a break sometime Saturday during the day, but Saturday night into Sunday, that's when the majority of those rain totals were really kicking in there. So that's going to be the heaviest of all, will be Saturday night and Sunday, and that could be bad timing for those who have holiday plans, certainly. We'll see how this plays out. I'm here all week. We'll watch it every day. I'll keep you updated on Twitter, on Facebook. I'll post maps when I can. I just, again, got to give my cautionary term here. It's going to take us a few days to nail this down. So don't get too excited. Don't get too disappointed. And don't get too literal of what we're saying either, all right? We're just discussing the system, and our official forecast is one you see on television, which, by the way, I'm putting together right now and will air coming up tonight after the game coming up after the Bengals tonight. So make sure to check it out. All right, have a good night. Enjoy the last week of autumn here, and I'll have a written version if I have time here tonight of Snow Talk. If not, I'll have to do that coming up for tomorrow. Have a good weekend. What's left of it.